So this will be M3 versus GT or Gamtee. So this game, a lot on the line for both these teams. Not having the best start. M3 particularly bringing in those 2 Korean imports. Thought they would have done better, but we've hyped up the top part of the map. It's really Candy and Lovecd that have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting so far.
Yeah, they're the ones that have been really impactful in their victories, but you have to think that in some of their losses, it has been a little bit of tilt around that top and mid, and Looper hasn't necessarily stepped up to that world-class form. Of course, champion last year in Worlds, so not quite managing to get there. We'll see whether they manage to pull it off here, but they're against Gamtee, and Gamtee have had a bit of a rough run as well. Yeah,
they certainly have, but they've brought in their new mid laner, Ziaohu. He had some good moments yesterday. He got picked on a lot in lane when he was playing that Xerath and really got 3-man ganked quite a few times, but was able to put it together. Even in their loss, he looked fairly well. So interesting to see how he goes up against Dade.
Yep, and as we do have the bans running through, we'll just list them out just quickly. Lissandra being taken away, Janna as well, and Nara on the side of M3. And rounding out the bans for GT, it's going to be Rek'Sai, Kassadin, and Rumble. So pretty standard, but it has left Ruo able to pick up that Jarvan.
Yeah, and we've seen that Ruo is extremely comfortable on 2 junglers, Jarvan and Lee Sin. Doesn't really go for anything else. Actually had a shocker of a game on Rengar yesterday when a lot of target bans was thrown at him. So good to see that he's on something a little bit more comfortable. Looks like Danger's hovering over Corki for Tail. That has been a little bit more successful than some of their other bottom lane matches.
And I find it really interesting that you mentioned Rowan his inability to play a lot of these sort of second-tier junglers, because Danger is identical in that regard. Looked completely absent from the map when he was playing Rengar, whereas his performance on Lee Sin was fantastic. But Ziaohu's managed to pick up an Azir here, and Tail back on his very comfortable Corki.
Yeah, I like the Corki matchup. If it is matched with the Tristana, I would expect a lane swap to be coming through for both these teams. Azir is one of those interesting champions that has a very good laning phase against melee and medium range mages, and then against poke-heavy long-range mages like Xerath, who is still available, is seeming to struggle at the moment. So want to see how that one works out. Looks like it will be Tristana, and as well as the fish in the bottom lane, Nami being locked in for a little bit of sustain. So that's a pretty strong lane, maybe looking to go head-to-head.
Yeah, and if they do go head-to-head, of course, they can utilize Tristana fairly strong at that level 3 point. That rework hasn't come in yet, guys, so this is, of course, super long-range, mega late-game Uber Tristana coming through into the bottom lane. But both solo lanes for M3 still up for grabs, and not too much counter-picking available here for Gamtee as they're hovering over an Annie pickup. And no surprises, Danger locking in that Lee Sin, because I don't know whether he has many more options in his champion pool.
Yeah, definitely not surprised to see him go back to that. Is one of the strong champions still left up, with Rek'Sai being taken off the board. I like the pick away from Looper as well of this Maokai in the top lane. Looper known for those big tanky guys that he can run teleport on. Want to see if he goes back to the Singe. Has done that before in this matchup to get a lot of work done in the laning phase. But so far, M3, we were wondering how they were going to bounce back after a very disappointing loss, and they seem to have been picking banning a little bit better than they were yesterday. Got outclassed supremely yesterday in that regard.
Oh, they very much did. It was almost uncomfortable to watch. We'll see whether they can bounce back. Of course, professional teams like this, you do need to have that mental fortitude. Candy's going to be hovering over this Singed for now, so
yeah, it's something that they do a lot of the times when they see a super tank being taken in the top lane. Looper is extremely comfortable running the Singed into that, so it looks like that will be the choice. And we mentioned Azir struggling with long-range mages. No surprise, locking in Xerath.
Yep, and that Singe going to be locked away as well, so very intelligent banning so far. But what does that do as far as rounding out this team comp is concerned?
Yeah, it looks like they have a very late game identity right now. I like when you go Jarvan, because you can lock priority targets down and Xerath can really pick on them inside that Cataclysm. But they don't really have a good mid-game power curve unless you take into if Xerath can get ahead of Azir. If he can get ahead, he can certainly wave clear and poke people out, but a lot of pressure will be on Candy to get ahead on this Tristana.
Yeah, we'll see whether he can do that. Of course, Sinkdream hovering over this Annie. We saw that yesterday, roaming the map, of course, in their victory against Vici Gaming.
So Gamtee actually have a very good mid-game composition. Annie, Corki just provide a lot of that burst and the lockdown that can be needed. Azir just gets better as time goes on. Maokai is going to turn into that tanky beast. So a lot of pressure now on Rook to get around the map and, I guess, shut down Danger on Lee Sin early, not let him get those lanes ahead and start snowballing it, because we've seen this a lot with late-game compositions. If you cannot get at least equal, if you start falling behind, sometimes even if you pick super late game, it just falls apart.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and we've seen here in China especially that these late-game comps haven't managed to get rolling enough because they just get destroyed in these mid-game team fights. These dragon fights around the 12, 18-minute mark just become too much for them to deal with.
Yeah, they certainly do. And the other thing that is interesting to note is that they're not just losing dragons, they're losing the turrets that are available as well. So it's really the combination of the two around these team fights that hurt you so much when you're going into a late game team comp. You can maybe put up with losing the turrets if you're getting some dragons yourself or vice versa, but they're just not able to get anything at the moment going M3. And once again, picking a late game team comp puts them in a little bit of the back foot position.
Yeah, a little bit dangerous to go for that one, but of course, they really do need a victory here. And Dade, no slouch in that mid lane. I mean, we've been talking about the fact that he hasn't necessarily been performing as would have been expected after moving over here to the LPL, but he definitely has the potential to carry this team if he wants to, and now in a favorable matchup.
Yeah, he certainly does. And look, his Zed yesterday, it was good. He was able to get in there, really affect Uzi. It was just that the map was collapsing around him. So looking forward to see how he goes today.
Yeah, we'll see as we get onto the Rift. And we're in game, ladies and gentlemen, with M3 taking on GT. Of course, M3 now on our blue side and GT on the red for the first match here for our third day of week 3 of the LPL.
Surfer Singe going to be heading into the top lane, looking to cause some trouble. And Looper is actually a very good laner on Singed even early. Some of the problem with Singed, and this is why we see the proxy come out sometimes, is that he does not have a fantastic, I guess, level 1. His level 3 is terrifically strong if you put 2 points into that fling because it just does so much damage with an auto attack into minions. But afterwards, it kind of peters off until he gets some items behind him.
Yeah, we'll see whether he can be that frustrating, annoying Singe, which we've seen him be quite often here. Of course, Looper, I think it was you that mentioned to me that he was inspired a little bit by Dyrus over in North America.
I think that's how the story goes. When he first came onto the scene with Ozone, he pulled out the Singed at World Championship when they weren't doing too well and had a terrific game. And when he was asked who it was from the Season 1 World Championship when Dyrus pulled it out when he was on Epic Gamer. So a little bit of respect to the North American top laner, but Looper definitely plays it terrifically in the current meta whilst Dyrus has let it go.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right, and it's good to see that he's still holding onto that one because
he's in a little bit of trouble here. He's got so many members closing in.
Yeah, and Looper just finds himself in an odd position, going to be wandering back towards his turret, but 4 members here, they decided not to really pull the trigger, did Gamtee?
Yeah, they definitely knew he was there as well because he walked over a very clear ward going into that second brush. So it looks like the late invade will be successful, and they've actually tried to get a lane swap here, Gamtee, away from Candy and Lovecd.
That is very interesting, really respecting the M3 bottom lane here. And I think giving Candy a free lane, though, on this Tristana, I mean, we've seen how dangerous he can be if he gets a lead early. And with no one else in the lane, you have to think that it's almost conceding that. Yeah,
maybe a little bit of respect to Ro as well, trying to get away from his jungle pathing on Jarvan. We've seen it has been quite good, and he can impact the lane. So trying to get their, I guess, duo lanes into a favorable matchup and then keep away from the solo laners of M3, who are definitely their strong point at this time.
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is as well is this gives Sinkdream the opportunity to roam this map and really use that stun to get a lot of kills started here for Gamtee. And that's what got them their victory yesterday. And Sinkdream was just a monster on that champion, even though he was still level 2 at about 9 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. He definitely had some fantastic roams, and he did it at the expense of, I guess, getting himself ahead. Was very unselfish, gave it over to his team, gave up a lot of experience in CS, but Sinkdream needs to be careful here.
Yeah, he's roaming towards M3 here, have discovered him, but it's only Lovecd that really bothers to take notice of this, Annie, and he's going to be able to head back to that turret.
Yeah, that was a little bit strange that didn't decide to pull Jarvan across straight away and go on to him, but just looking to clear out a little bit more farm as it goes through.
Yeah, it does have the ward there as well. Sinkdream just wanting to be a little bit of a nuisance. Oh, seeing if he can try and come over and grab it. Does actually pick up the Gromp. Not bad. Sinkdream already with that level 2, so far ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely of where he was yesterday, and that's going to be extremely frustrating come through. Jungler is still only level 2 compared to the 2 and 3 on the side of Gamtee, so that's important, stealing away a lot of that early game gold as well as experience.
Yeah, and this is going to give him that extra ability as well, so able to get into those lanes. And was doing a lot of ganking at level 1 with Sinkdream yesterday, so now with an extra ability, going to be feeling pretty good.
And we take a look at mid lane. It looks like Dade doing absolutely fine. Is actually shoved in, but has the CS advantage. So that shows how well this lane goes in Xerath's favor. Just able to bully the mid-range Azir around. Azir has definitely got good persistent damage, but has to walk up to get into Xerath's zone, and Xerath is just so good at controlling that.
Certainly is, and of course in the hands of Dade as well. Pretty mechanically gifted as this guy's. Both of our supports going to be roaming down this bottom side, and Danger heading into this bottom lane as well.
Yeah, so putting a lot of pressure on Candy here. Actually got 3 people down in his lane. Letme trying to shove that one out, break the freeze that was occurring, and put some pressure on that big wave. See how he last hits under turret with this one, because there are a lot of members here. No, back away from a potential dive.
Yeah, has actually skilled up that explosive shot now, as Sinkdream just going to try and get some harass down onto Candy, but already level 4 is this Tristana. It's getting a little bit scary here for Gamtee. You're not going to be able to dive that one too easily with a level 2 Annie. Yeah,
and now the lane swap, the more you think about it, makes a lot more sense. Singed does struggle with the ranged harass in lane. That's another reason the proxy became so popular. And against a level 5 tail, he is going to struggle to pick up any items, whereas that would have been a definite winning lane for Lupa if he was going head-to-head with Letme. So Gamtee sacrificing, I guess, their top laner a little bit, also letting Candy get a little bit further ahead than he would have normally been, but doing it by keeping Lupa down a lot.
Yeah, well, exactly right. And of course, Letme more than happy to not have too many items, may just forego picking up that Rod of Ages and go for that Righteous Glory instead, and just get to that late game stage where he can be this huge Maokai, regardless of.
This is a dangerous gank right here. It's a level 3 and a level 3 versus a 5.
Yeah, forcing the flash there as well. So Tail gets slowed down by the W.
Yeah, so the reason I was saying that was dangerous and they circumvented it well was Lupa just ran past the minion wave. If they had have actually fought in that minion wave, that was about 12 caster minions there, and that would have done so much damage to a level 3 Draven. So really nice job to be able to get some CS back onto Lupa here and be able to pick up the rest of that wave. Blows a summoner spell as well, but now he might be getting a gank in return.
Yeah, Danger is up here. As Tail going to throw out a Phosphorus Bomb for a fair bit of damage from this level 5 Corki. Of course, has an extra couple of points into that queue. Lupa going to miss out on that cannon creep. Very disappointing to watch that happen.
Yeah, he's just playing it nice and patiently, knows something is up, doesn't want to approach that wave. Danger is still sitting in the wings. He's been there for about 20 seconds now, so being extremely patient with this gank. Maybe waiting for the level 6 to come through.
Yeah, we'll see whether Tail is going to pull the trigger early. Lupa is going to come up forward. He is going to safeguard his way in onto that ward here as well, taking a lot of damage. Flings Danger back and tries to escape. He's juking something, but that's going to be first blood going to Tail.
Yeah, so really patient play coming out of Danger here. Uses the flash also to get back in range. Thought Tail might have had that one, but that's 2,000 gold onto Corki, who's had a very good laning phase up until this point and kept Lupa down.
Yeah, and this is going to be Tail now with a very early Trinity Force, you have to think, as Lupa teleports back to the lane. 53 CS to the 55 of Candy in that bottom side, but of course that kill is going to really help Tail in getting his early items.
Yeah, and the thing about Tristana is even if she goes even with a Corki, that's not really good enough until the late game, as Sinkdream nearly face checks the brush. Because of how smooth his 2 item is, that's the Trinity Force as well as the Source of Boots coming through, just does a lot more work with limited resources. Of course, as the game goes on, it goes in Tristana's favor, but getting a Corki this far ahead in the early game definitely is a good thing.
Certainly is. Almost has that Phage built up as well as that Sheen now as well, as he heads down to that bottom side of the map to really utilize this added pressure that's going to be available to him.
And I like the Sheen pickup here because he's going to be able to, in quick bursts, really chunk out this Tristana, who has gone back and picked up a BF sword. If he had gone the Phage and not been able to afford the Sheen, yeah, the persistent damage is better, but being able to use that Phosphorus Bomb auto attack to take out nearly a third of the health will be really beneficial for Tail in this lane. Might even be able to get his team an early dragon.
We'll see whether they can. Sinkdream now level 4 to the level 7 Tail. Does have that stun charged up here as well. And it's going to be very hard for M3 to, I guess, contest this dragon, having that stun readily available.
Yeah, it certainly is. And the other thing is they know that Dade and are on the other side of the map trying to get the blue buff. He saw them walk up that side, so with the timer they know exactly where they are. So they're being patient in this bottom lane, trying to set something up and get something going.
Yeah, they're going to ping straight onto that dragon. 4 members strong here from Gamtee, going to start that one off, and it's already at half health here. A lot of damage to come through. Of course, that Sheen doing a lot of work from Tail. There's right at the arcane coming through, but man, that was so close.
Yeah, that was
Danger
59 health. Able to pick it up in the end was Danger, but that was a little bit too close for comfort. Nice scouting ultimate coming through from Dade, so they'll have the timer on that one. And really, that's a good pickup there. Didn't expect much difference. Gamtee has got a better early game composition, and the fact that it's still equal on gold, even though a kill has gone over to the side of Gamtee, is a good thing for M3.
Yeah, and it's on this Tristana as well, you can see. 79 CS to 63, so able to sort of pull back and try and answer.
Yeah, as well as the mid
burst
lane. There's about a 20 CS advantage for Dade in the mid lane. He's been able to repetitively shove in, use that range. The almost obnoxious poke that comes out of Xerath at this point in the game has gone back. We'll finish up that Morellonomicon. So he's in a fantastic mid-game spot right now.
Yeah, we'll see whether he can utilize that as well, because do M3 need to be making moves to try and keep Gamtee from running away with this game, or do they just want to hold on and wait for that late game point?
Yeah, exactly right. They're holding on for dear life at this point in the game. They know exactly where they are. They're pretty lucky to be even at this point, and if they can just keep getting farm onto their carries, they need to get a little bit more onto Looper, then they're in a good position still to be able to contest this one after about the 25-30 minute mark, as long as they're able to, I guess, make sure that this game doesn't escalate too quickly for them.
We'll see whether they can. It's actually Letme pushing Looper in down here as Rose found his way to this bottom brush. Going to sweep that one out and find that there's no vision.
Yeah, Letme able to pick up an early Catalyst as a protector, so it has a little bit more sustain and mana regen in that lane. Just able to bully Looper around. That will change as soon as Looper's able to pick up his Catalyst. With that ultimate running, Sinch just becomes such a tanky nuisance, but looks like they're looking for something in this bottom lane.
Yeah, very patient as per
usual. Sending Dade down as well.
We'll see how Sinkdream can use that stun in order to disengage his team, and see whether these Aqua Prisons are on point, because Lovecd has to land them. Not going to find it this time. Is Candy going to just clear out the wave instead?
Yeah, so good patience coming out of Gamtee there. With the, I guess, the spike that comes out of Annie and a Corki, you would think that they would be looking to fight at any opportunity, but just willing to back away farm. Hadn't seen the jungler from M3 for quite a time, so just able to back away from there and didn't really need to force anything.
Yeah, it's interesting as well, because a lot of these Chinese teams do want to be fighting all the time, as Letme just gets flung back into the brush.
Yeah, able to use that passive trades quite well. Looper, of course, will start winning out in these trades as time goes on. Singed is just such a good laner against Maokai.
Also just scaling so well as far as that 1v1 is concerned. Able to just get to that point where he doesn't die, which can be frustrating.
Yeah, both top laners will definitely get to that point where they become that big tanky frontliner for their team. Looper, ooh.
Ziaohu taking a lot of damage here, of course. Right of the Arcane was available, and Dade deciding not to use it. He's just going to charge up that Arcano Pulse and keep clearing out these waves. As Candy takes a lot of burst here from Tail.
Yeah, so that lane's still going in Tail's favor, even though the Sheen had been picked up. That's very nice job from a Tristana to be able to be 11 CS up at the 12-minute mark, and even forces a little bit of a disengage in the bot lane as they bring the support down as well. So fantastic job from M3 at this point in the game to really stop the bleeding. They've consolidated the leaders exactly where they are, in a good position to maybe even with some poke fight for the next dragon, because Looper has started to level up and get some nice minion score behind him. He was, if you remember, about 11 CS at about the 4-minute mark throughout this one.
Yeah, it was looking very scary for Looper, but now that he's got that 1v1, you can see definitely a lot more happy. But Sinkdream, I mean, he's been stuck here in this bottom side of the map, and we saw that when Gamtee was winning their games, it was Sinkdream roaming around and picking up the kills and setting things up for his team, but sort of been unable to do so as the Flash Tibbers comes through just as the rocket jump comes up.
Coming in.
The teleport from the backside here as well, as Sinkdream just gets destroyed. Danger going to kick Row out of this one, but Looper's running. He's got that ultimate on. He wants Tail. He's going to get slowed down because here's Dade, although he takes a lot of damage for it. Finally, Looper picks up the kill.
Yeah, really nicely played from Looper there, circumventing everyone and just running straight from the carry. Didn't care about Danger whatsoever, so able to get a kill there. Dade picks up the assist, actually flung him out of the stun. Might have been able to get a little bit more. On the backside of that as well, Letme also fell down, so really well-fought team fight, 3-0 on the side of M3, and with a late-game composition, if you can start picking up these mid-game victories, it's going to lead to very good things.
Yeah, and of course, utilizing that map movement as well to really make sure that they can capitalize. Of course, having the man advantage is always going to work irrespective of whether your team's late game focused or not. Sun Turret's going to come up, and Dade going to have to try and finish that one off, and we're all going to get very confused about how many turrets have been taken this game.
Yeah, we certainly are. It looks like they're also trying to steal away this blue buff. Looper knows what's going on, bringing Dade in as well.
Yeah, Dade's pink-warded that one here as well, as Ziaohu is able to steal away that blue buff. Dade not quite there on that one. Did have a blue buff himself, but I think he got that from... No, I have no idea. Because there's a blue buff still up over on the other side.
Yeah, there certainly is. Looper now just continuing farming in the top lane. Everyone's gone back to standard lanes. Looper has started to really build on that CS. He was so far behind to even get back to this point. Looks like he's going for that righteous glory on Sinch. Yeah. So not electing for a roller. Instead going for the other catalyst item in Danger. Wow, he's so low.
Yeah, Letme as well with that righteous glory, as this blue buff is going to be taken away by Danger.
So 5 seconds until Dragon, and Danger has just pretty much ensured that M3 will have this one. Has had to back away. I don't think they saw it, so they might not know that they have, but they're rotating Looper down and looking for a pick at the same time. So in a good position to contest the second Dragon. If they can grab this one, that will put themselves back on even playing fields, right back into this game with a better late game scaling composition.
Yeah, and it's already pretty much done for free here from M3, and Gamtee, they couldn't afford to let that one go. There's a little bit of a Valkyrie Force there on the bottom side of the map here from Tail. But he's going to be okay. Does have that Trinity Force. And this is when they wanted to fight for these dragons, because these item spikes are coming through. Righteous Glory, Trinity Force. They need to be going for things.
Yeah, they certainly are in a better position to fight as the top lane turret does fall. So at least they're trading objectives for it, Gamtee. Would have preferred the fight, actually grouping around with this Annie. But the ward control, especially those pinks around the mid lane for M3, have just been able to shut them out and ensure that they're not able to get into the area without face checking. And when there's a Zerath doing this well in lane, you just can't walk into him because of how much poke damage he puts down before you even arrive at the objective.
Yeah, and at this stage as well, as Gamtee try to take these turrets and secure the objectives, utilizing the fact that they have a stronger comp at this stage, Dade just has so much wave clear on this Zerath as well.
Yeah, he certainly does. He's able to just shove the wave out, roam around the map. He's actually cheating towards the bot side as well as they bring Ro in. Maybe a turret dive, or just looking to secure their first turret of the game.
Yeah, and you can see as well, there's just so many M3 wards on this map. Every player putting down so many, even throughout the blue jungle of Gamtee, and that's aggressive warding for a team that wants to wait and hold out to this late stage of the game. Yeah,
well, you need to be able to see Danger's jungle pathing so you don't allow him to snowball these lanes. Laning phase has dissolved rather quickly. It's 15 minutes in as a nice chunk goes out.
Yeah, Ziaohu getting just destroyed here, right at the Arcane, easily enough to take that one out, and that Emperor's Divide not going to do enough work. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Candy 1v1's Tail.
Yeah, and that's such bad news for a Corki. Being able to be 1v1 by a Tristana, has that Infinity Edge built up and just takes it to him, even though the Trinity Force is at this point of the game a much better one-item spike. So nicely done by the AD carry. And we said, when M3 are looking good, it's not necessarily their solo laners that have hyped up. It is this bottom lane that have been performing quite well.
And we've just seen Candy on this Tristana time and time again do fantastically. His ability to play this champion at any stage of the game is brilliant, and something that is just not, you just don't want to give it to him.
Yeah, you certainly don't. Now we're seeing Looper actually, with the confidence to be able to proxy farm, has actually picked up a CS advantage in this lane. So he's looking good, going in there to annoy that Maokai consistently. And this is the thing about Sinch. If you proxy with him and able to take that wave away, you have the chance to teleport maybe 5 or 6 seconds earlier than what the other top laner does. So you get down there, impact the team fight, and whilst Letme might be absorbing all this farm and becoming a very, very tanky tree, just won't be able to have the impact that Looper will.
Oh, Dade actually face-checking this brush. Sinkdream goes down incredibly low. There's the Aqua Prison, and Dade, he's somehow out of there. Sinkdream as well, but Candy, he's going to get the crit to finish that one off. Ziaohu forced to flash over the wall, and Dade, how are you not dead?
Yeah, able to just flash towards his team there, keeping himself alive. A really nice heal coming through from Lovecd as well. So nice work there, and they're not done yet. They're invading the jungle.
It's ridiculous. Ro going to be able to take away these Raptors as well, and for that, able to get a free sweeping lens.
And Looper is just so quick. He ulted and then ghosted in that fight, and he just headed straight bot to, I guess, stop the push that was coming through from Tail. So he teleported into that mid lane fight, and now he's all the way down bottom, just farming out another wave.
Yep, doing just singed things, ladies and gentlemen. That's all he wants to do is just kill these minions over and over again.
Yeah, it actually looks like Candy, in response, had rotated into the top lane, picked up some more CS, and now goes back and grabs a static Shiv. So this is a 3-0-1 Tristana at 20 minutes with 2 items compared to just the Trinity Force and the Sork Boot. So Tail definitely in an okay position for where he's at the game. When you compare him to the other hyper carry coming through from M3, they're just in a much better position.
Yeah, and Lovecd may have been caught out here just a little bit. Tail might find himself another kill. Sinkdream leaves it for him. And Tail 2-2-0 now on this Corki, able to get a little bit further ahead. But as you were mentioning, this is a 2-item spike on Candy at 19 minutes into the game. And a red buff now as well.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's actually going in.
Super aggressive onto Ziaohu here as Ride of the Arcane comes in as well. But, oh, he does manage to pick up the kill. Letme is able to finish him off. But Danger, you're dead as well. Ruo, he's going to get stunned up here just a little bit, but Sinkdream doesn't have a lot of damage. He's going to flash away from Letme, who's a big, monstrous tree. Tail finally making his way in here, but that's sort of the only damage that's left out of these. And Candy sacrificing himself for 2 kills.
Yeah,
I guess works out in the end.
2-for-1 trade definitely worked out, and that's the aggression that we're used to seeing out of Candy in the bottom lane, diving in there to take out the mid laner. Does give them a little bit of map control back as well. At this point, Letme is so tanky. With those Ninja Tabi and an extra drying spell, it's going to take a lot to kill him. However, he just doesn't do that much damage without the roller build. Has all the annoying CC and the damage mitigation, but isn't really a threat in the mid game that we would normally see out of a roller Maokai.
Yeah, and there's the fact that he's also built up this Righteous Glory, which is a good initiation tool, but seems like M3 are more than happy to fight whenever Gamtee are coming at them.
Yeah, I think that they just got a little bit better of an early game than we would have expected, and this has launched them into a position where they're like, hey, it might only be 20 minutes into the game and we're a late game composition, but we can fight right now. And the death cap coming out of Dade just shows that he's willing to play super aggressive. Wow, another core catch.
Yep. Tidal Wave easily going to be able to sink Mr. Sinkdream on this Annie, and he's just not having the impact that he managed to in the last series that we saw.
Yeah, at 0-3-1, you might even say he's drowning.
You're fantastic, because Ruo does get caught out, but just flags and drags his way out and just says, no, that's fine.
Oh, the ultimate coming through from Dade as well.
Yeah, Ride of the Arcane, 2 for 3. Not bad at all. Pretty good
just
aiming.
Poking them off, looking to pick up another dragon, and wow, they're just looking a lot more confident than what they were yesterday. Dade poking out Sinkdream even more, complete control over this mid lane. And with the long range and the death cap that's going to come through soon, you have to think that himself and Candy in a very good position to carry this game.
Yeah, and also M3 obviously would have been feeling their defeat last night against OMG, but it hasn't affected how they're playing this game. Of course, you can see setting up for a gank here as Letme's being caught out. Twisted advance onto Dade, but he's got a lot of damage. There is, in fact, the Emperor's Divide to knock Looper out, but Dade picks up another kill on Danger. Ziaohu's going to fall down as well. That's a triple kill. Meanwhile, Tail picks up Candy in this bottom side of the map. Nice double stun, and that Phosphorus Bomb going to secure the kill onto the Fish and Ruo. Is the triple kill going to be answered? No, Tail is going to back away.
Yeah, so craziness over both sides of the map. 2v3s going in the way of the 2 members, so
interesting.
Interesting work coming through, but we saw the Samsung members teaming up there for a very impressive display. Looper defending that pink ward, and they just overextended a little bit too much, Gamtee. Able to get some more kills onto Tail as, once again, the ultimate comes out.
Sinkdream just targeted by everyone on M3.
Yeah, so able to get some more gold onto this Corki means that he is back to equal finally in that gold mark. Has gone back and picked himself up a BF sword, so we'll be working towards that maybe Infinity Edge even. He has got a long sword as well, so might be the last Whisper that comes through, try and deal with this Singed.
We'll see what he does decide to go with. Of course, very expensive build in those first 2 items if it is Infinity Edge Trinity Force, but see whether he manages to get there and what he decides to pick up. I of course, personally enjoy a bit of a Bloodthirster on Corki, but we'll see what he goes with.
Yeah, I think Bloodthirster helps their siege a lot. It just helps with pushing down turrets, gives you that little bit of a defensive feel as well. Dade, meanwhile, absolutely no defense about his build. Has gone for a Morellonomicon and a Death Cap and another blasting one. So we'll be working towards potentially that Void Staff, you would have to think, on a 23-minute Xerath in the mid lane. So 4-0-4. He's had a pretty good start to this second series this weekend.
I think that is understatement of the day so far, as Ruo's going to get caught out. It's going to get kicked back to the team here as well. GT grouping really nicely. Danger going to get flung, though. He's in no man's land as Sinkdream wants to try and help him, but can't get over the wall. There's Ride of the Arcane. Danger manages to get some fancy footwork in one of them, but He's going to be okay. Looper, though, such a menace. Pops that Righteous Glory. There's the Tidal Wave to come over as well. M3 really need to find some footing because Looper's running out of health here, and Letme is a huge tank. Dade is massive, but may have actually been discovered here by Letme. There's the Flash Timbers from Sinkdream to come right in on everyone, but Tail, he's going to get exhausted, and Candy's starting to get the resets. Look at the damage from this Tristana.
That crit was absolutely massive, making sure that they can secure the 2 kills to 2 kills in that lineup, and Looper was just running around without a care in the world in that fight. Didn't care if he got taken out. He was going to make sure it went for as long as possible. Dade and Candy just able to put out the persistent damage, and they're going to push in on an inner turret here.
And this is a very interesting Singed build as well. Really mixing it up. Has picked up that Locket of the Iron Solari here as well, because there's so much magic damage coming out of GT, especially from Tail and Ziaohu here in the mid and bottom lanes.
Yeah, the more I look at Locket as an item standalone, the more I like it over the other, I guess, choices in the top lane, just because of the fact that it still has that 20% CDR. And these tanks do so much with their abilities. The more flings you get out, the more goo that you put on the floor, the more time you have your ultimate up, it's just going to help your inherent tankiness and your usefulness in a fight. Whereas Spirit Visage, that got nerfed back to the 10%. Banshee's Veil doesn't have anything. And it's just good team-based play coming out of Looper and able to impact these fights.
Yeah, now has a lot of tenacity here as well on this Singe. So going to be running around even more, of course, scaling multiplicatively with his ultimate there as well.
Yep, that is a word coming through.
It's a very difficult one, I'm not going to lie.
It is. You did well, as we see Looper continually in this top lane with the push, just looking to get it. Dade going to clean up his blue buff, and from here you think that the scales have definitely tipped in M3's favor there. Accelerated maybe that 30-minute mark that they were looking for. They're definitely in a position where they can now start fighting it. It only goes downhill from here with, of course, that last Whisper now being picked up by Candy. He's ready to fight anyone on the map, and just very nice play coming out of M3.
Yeah, that's a 3-item Tristana and a 3-item Xerath here as well at 26 minutes into the game versus 2.5 items for both of their oppositions here. And Dade going to pick up a kill under Sinkdream, and it's starting to get old.
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's not done yet. He's still looking for more onto Ziaohu.
Yep, and getting some Sand Soldiers over the wall is Ziaohu trying to answer back the aggression, but this inner turret is under fire, and Candy pushing out the mid lane as well. You can see all of the wards here for M3. They know anyone who's going to be coming through that jungle. Yeah. Sand Soldier going to hit Looper maybe, but not really do anything.
So a clinic was put on yesterday by OMG on how to pull a team apart throughout the mid game, and it looks like M3 are returning the favor. Learned the lesson well, and now they're starting to push up this mid lane, get into the base, and Looper, he's turned into a tanky monster at this point in the game, and the ultimate come out one more time.
Yeah, right at the arcane. I'm not even sure where he was aiming it here. As Sinkdream going to take half of his health from 1 Q.
Yeah, nice stun comes out, chunks out another member. So I think he actually aimed the right of the arcane at Ziaohu, then chunked out Sinkdream, and then chunked out Danger, and his whole team just walked away from the turret. He was like, guys, I wasn't done. Let's keep going.
Just ridiculous. Candy now also having that Vampiric Scepter as well, so almost 4 items. I mean, it's just getting crazy. Does need about 2,000 gold if he is going to build up that Bloodthirster. And he's going to take the blue away for himself as well. 10 seconds on this Dragon. And M3 easily going to swing around and pick that one up for the 3rd time.
Yeah, they just have complete control of the map at this point. Sinkdream, Letme back in base, does have his teleport available, so might be looking for a home guard teleport in to try and get something done. But good response coming out of Gamtee, trying to push this mid lane instead of fighting around the objective.
Yeah, wanting to try and pick up anything that they can for themselves. And Ziaohu actually on this Xerath can use that W to really destroy these towers. You can see doing a lot of work there as Tail takes most of his health from Dade.
Yeah, and Dade ultimate.
Oh, dear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Looper has popped that Righteous Glory here as well. It's exploded, so he's not going to be running super fast. But, oh, beautiful Emperor's Divide. And he gets out with Yi here as well. But is it going to be not enough? Yep, because Right of the Arcane has a ridiculous range, ladies and gentlemen. The Scuttle Crab going to go down here as well. And, man, that was such good play coming out from Ziaohu. Just wasn't enough.
Yeah, they're just way too far behind at this point in the game. Without a Miracle Steal coming through from Danger, this game is deteriorating very rapidly. Actually, they're just deciding to fight instead.
Yeah, Letme does have his ultimate running here. Is forced to use that flash to get away. And Dade is so bloodthirsty on this Xerath. Just willing to go into the front lines now because he has so much assassination potential.
Yeah, he certainly does. And when you have a couple that with the long range and the amount of damage that he throws out, he's just so safe in these fights. Able to pick up even more farm for himself. He's so far ahead at this point in the game. There's probably no one that can stand toe-to-toe with him, and the fact that he can just poke people off objectives is giving Candy the freedom to just hit at will.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Now has another needlessly large rod going towards that Zhonya's Hourglass. You have to feel. Unless he goes DFG, Xerath, what do you think?
I like it.
No, you probably do. Oh, my goodness. But Gamtee now trying to consolidate. Only 5,000 gold behind, but when you say that, they're down 2 extra dragons, and the Baron is almost completely owned by M3. You can see they've got pink wards all around there.
And it's not only the deficit on the scoreboard in regards to gold, it's that they pick for a mid-game composition and they just weren't able to make it work. There's an inherent gold value in the passives and the abilities on the champions of M3 that is just so much higher. Talking like the range of Tristana, the range of Dade, and the amount of consistent damage that they can do. The tankiness that comes through from Lupa's ultimate. That as this game goes on, their champions just do much more with levels than what the champions do from Gamtee.
Except maybe with the exception of Ro, who's just been playing this game out incredibly well. Has himself a Banshee's Veil. 2, 1, and 5 on this Jarvan as well, as Dade just going to flash forward and kill Sinkdream again. Ziaohu, forced to use that flash to get out of the last ride of the Arcane, and that's going to be 5 versus 4 here under this inner turret in the bottom lane. And Gamtee, they just have no idea how to respond to how strong M3 are at this stage.
Yeah, I don't think there is a response. Dade has gone absolutely insane this game. He's just put his team on his back along with Candy, who's had a terrific Tristana game, and really started throwing his weight around. He's happy to just solo kill people out. And we had a chat yesterday how if... we'll maybe pause that one. Looks like there might be a bit of a scuffle.
A little bit of a scuffle. Lupa going to pick up the tower aggro here as well, but that wave is going to get cleared out.
Yeah, so we had a chat yesterday of what the identity of M3 is going to be. Is it going to be the protect the Dade, let him get on the assassins, maybe let him split push and get a lot of work done for his team? Or are they going to go more towards a team fighting? Are they looking for good teleports to come through from Lupa? And this looks like the most comfortable game they've played so far, with the 2 carries and nice tanky jungle and mid laner with some disengage coming through from their support.
Yeah, sort of the 2-threat comp where these 2 threats are ridiculous. Sinkdream is on the map and therefore in a lot of trouble. Tail now just gets eliminated. Ro with the Cataclysm for the slam dunk, and man, M3 just so much damage potential. Ziaohu basically dead. Sinkdream could take maybe 1 more of those ultimate shots, but no more than that, as the Sun Turret's going to go down here as well. And M3, I don't think that Gamtee can really come back into this one. I just can't see it.
Yeah, no, this game is over. It's just a matter of time before M3 decide to push into the base and get things finished. They're just way too strong. They've hit their stride too early in this game, and yeah, they're going to finish it right here probably.
Yeah, Letme's going to try to come in, gets hit by the Aqua Prison. It's a nice Tibbers to come from Sinkdream, and he's not dead yet, which is surprising. We've got a few Sand Soldiers coming through. Letme is going to finally fall down after doing a fair bit of work. Beautiful entrance divide. Dade falls down. A nice Zhonya's Hourglass here as well from Ziaohu, but he's going to be able to pick up yet another kill. How is he doing it? The 2 carries are now dead, and GT, they're turning this one around. Lupa and Love City, the only ones left alive, and M3 just getting a bit too big for their britches.
Yeah, that was definitely the best way that fight could have gone, however, and Lupa, he's still not done.
He's trying to continue being a menace. Never chase a singed, ladies and gentlemen, but still 3 for 2.
Yeah, so able to get it done in that last team fight. Very well done. That was a fantastic Emperor's Divide. Even kicked Lupa into it in the end and got him on the other side. So a 5-man Emperor's Divide really secured that team fight for them. But when you get everything perfect and you go +1 in a team fight just because of how far ahead M3 is, it still is bad news. So we'll take a look at it again. Lupa gets this started by flinging the tankiest member probably in the world back into his team, and he just doesn't die. The Emperor's Divide comes through in a couple of seconds from Ziaohu, and it's just such a good ultimate. There it is right there. Hits 4 members and does so much damage with all of those Sand Soldiers down. Able to pop the Zhonyas as well. Lupa goes back through the Emperor's Divide, and even though he falls at the very end here to Lupa, it was a fantastic effort from Ziaohu to keep his team this far in the game this far.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And Letme also tanking up so much damage for his team as well, and you have to think that it's a little bit M3 just getting slightly overconfident, but Gamtee, they might be able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. Don't think much of a capitalization will come through unless another team fight goes their way right now.
Yeah, Danger trying to get something started. A nice two-man Tibbers to come in, and Dade is just getting singled out. The Emperor's Divide going to be blocked by that Zhonya's, but not going to be enough as Tails found his way in here as well. Looper continues to be a monster as Ziaohu going to pop his Zhonya's Hourglass, is going to fall down, but Candy in the backside. Tail trying to take him down. Candy's going down solo. The flash from Tail. He secures the kill, and Looper is going down solo. Somehow is still alive as Letme turning it around onto Lovecd. Danger gonna land the Sonic Wave, and Tail finding his way back in on this one. It's only gonna be Ro alive, who's just walking around to that bottom side, and Lovecd takes a while, but he is gonna fall down, and the Baron's being pinged out. Gamtee, what is happening?
Yeah, just flipped the game on their head through their AD carry. 9-3-1. Corki having a terrific turn. Once again, a lot of that was Ziaohu. Another good ultimate. Caught Dade out this time. Made him blow his Zhonya's and wasn't able to get enough damage down. Candy was late to that fight. They fought a 4v5, and in the end, they were made to pay for it.
They were, and Sinkdream gets another godlike Tibbers stun as well on two members. And Dade, if he dies that quickly in the fight, if they can close distance on him, it doesn't matter how much AP he has.
Yeah, exactly right. He is 4 items at this point, and if you wipe him out, that is a lot of the damage of this 2-threat comp. Remember, they've got some nice tanky members, but not really that much damage if you get rid of one of the threats.
And we saw that in full effect as the Baron just taken from Gamtee. Ruo is going to be able to steal away this dragon and pull them out to 4 dragons to 1 now on the side of M3. But Gamtee now have an opportunity to push.
Yeah, so they have an opportunity to push or maybe stall, depending on what they want to go for. Looking at how big Maokai is starting to get, he will be a force to be reckoned with and will just become increasingly difficult to deal with as the game goes on. Same thing can be said for Looper, however. So ball really in Gamtee's court. Are they going to look to use this Baron, I guess, offensively, or are they just going to look to push out waves and delay it for a little bit longer?
Yeah, Sinkdream sitting on that Tibbers now as well. Has a few items. Another Fiendish Codex here as well, so still building up that AP. Maybe going for that Morellonomicon for himself to really get that cooldown reduction happening. And gets to the point where Tibbers can be almost permanently up.
Yeah, it certainly can. Tibbers has a lot of uptime if you have that 40% CDR. So they're setting up a gank brush here, actually, looking to bait out M3, who they're hoping will still be aggressive. I think after the last team fight, M3's learnt their lesson. They need to wait this one out, potentially even wait for the 5th dragon, and then just fight as a unit. They've been doing so well as a unit. Why force 5v4s?
Yeah, it's exactly right. And Gamtee have realized that if they engage, then they can get the work done. And now happy to play aggressively, especially with these Baroned up minions.
Yeah, so Looper recalling, has got those distortion enchants on the boot. So important if you're going to play a Ghost Champion to pick those up nice and early. So he's going to be flying around the map. Looks like he's going for a Spirit Visage as well. So maybe we'll be over that CDR cap. Yeah, it will be.
Definitely. Well over that CDR cap by about 10%. So I guess maybe not well over, but still 25%. Not bad, but a fantastic item on Singe nonetheless. You get so much more of your health back from that ultimate as it comes through, of course, boosting that.
Dade being chunked out there. They need to back away and not fight this one.
Yeah, and this Xerath is so squishy. Getting a taste of his own medicine here just a little bit from Tail.
So now a little bit of a lull. They haven't been able to make anything happen with this Baron. Interesting that they chose the mid lane and not one of the side lanes where they could take another outer turret. So they've just been using this one to, I guess, stall farm up, put the pressure back on M3 here. Now the ball back in M3 court. They're still 7,000 gold ahead. So they've closed the gold gap by about 3,000 gold Gamtee, but there's still some work to be done, and they haven't really used this Baron to its full effect.
Yeah, they haven't quite been able to, but of course, if you go back a few minutes, we were talking about the fact that Gamtee almost had no chance in this game, and they managed to turn it around with a hero fight around their inhibitor, and then again with the follow-up here in the river. So looking back with a chance, and we'll see whether they can make it work. Sinkdream setting up a little bit of a gank brush, and Candy wandering around. If he goes up a little bit too far, there might be a flash Tibbers into his face.
Yeah, and we mentioned how far ahead Candy was of Tail in the bottom lane. Now it's only a defensive item. So they're both equalized on 4 big offensive items. The trade out the Infinity Edge for the Trinity Force. And Corki at this point, even though Peter's off, does a lot of burst damage, especially to someone like Dade. So if able to get there, get a lot of get the pick potential involved, maybe a Lee Sin kick, they will be able to wipe someone off the map very quickly. And still no Thormail built up for Looper, which is a pretty good endgame singed item because it means that you have to, I guess, pay a little bit more attention to him, as maybe the next objective will be this red fight that they...
Oh, steals it with a rocket.
Yeah, so able to get that one away, and Now they just wait. It looks like both teams are waiting for Dragon or Baron to come back up. They're not happy to fight under turrets. They've given up on that both sides around. It's about 40 minutes in the game, and with all the AD built up on both sides, they will be able to push in maybe for a final push if they win a fight decisively. So just waiting for a neutral objective, want to fight in that river.
Yeah, and M3 not playing with nearly the courage that they had previously. Those last couple of team fights have rocked them. And Gamtee definitely with an element of control back in this game and have got a lot more vision back in as well. You can see M3 have sort of re-spread out their wards, but they're far more defensive at this stage.
Yeah, and we complimented M3 on their medal, being able to come back from such a decisive 2-0 defeat to turn this one on its head. But you think if they lose this game, once again, you have to question, how do they bounce back? They keep doing it somehow. They keep playing pretty good early games, but at a certain point, it has to really play a toll on your mindset if you lose a game from this position.
Yeah, and we've seen games where Gamtee have lost, where they've got to this stage and had a huge deficit, but still done okay. Oh, that attack from the Sand Soldier doing a lot of work. Tidal Wave to come in to do nothing, really, just to try and disengage. But Lovecd is going to have to head back, and Lupa trying to split.
Forfeit control of this Dragon area, and it's up in a minute. So that is such a big play to be able to get the flash and the ultimate out of Lovecd. It will be back up in time, I believe, but that's just being able to afford Gamtee the luxury of getting this net of pink wards out around the Dragon area. So if M3 want to fight it, they're going to have to run into a potential Azir that's nearly 6 items at this point.
And that is getting terrifying. Of course, Azir fantastic in that late game. M3 do have a few more options when it comes to big late game picks, but we've spoken about Azir and his ability to do consistent damage, and Ziaohu has shown that he can definitely play this champion to the full extent when it counts.
Yeah, and it's just such a good zone control. Azir is fantastic if you have control of an area, because can defend it very well. Couple that with some Corki rockets coming through from that much AD, and they're in a good position to fight this one. However, it looks like M3 want to start bullying their way back in.
Yeah, they're fanning out here just a little bit. The two tanky members, Ro and Lupa, just heading up the front. And Dade and Candy waiting out the side. Dade not quite able to find the poke that he wants, but they're able to get this vision control back, and that's exactly what they need, as 5 seconds is left on this Dragon. 5th Dragon opportunity here for M3, and GT need to be able to stop them from getting it.
Yeah, they're very split here, GT. They're looking to get a flank onto the backline after Ro and Lupa go in and dive on the carry. So here we go. Ooh, actually, the Sonic Wave missing. I thought that would have been the chance to go through, but if they get the 5th Dragon, they can fight immediately, and they've just got such a power boost.
Yeah, Danger really needs to keep his eye on that health bar, because that Smite's going to be necessary. Sinkdream's going to flash through here as well, but Dade's going to take him out straight away. Letme's in the back line trying to tank up, but he's taking so much damage, and Candy is untouched on the backside. A nice Emperor's Divide to get the disengage, and I have no idea who's got the Dragon, because it's not dead yet.
Exactly right. They're still continuing this great Emperor's Divide to put some pressure on. A lot of flashing health bars. Lupa's going back to try and teleport in. They're just trying to delay.
They're trying to delay. No more damage going down onto this Dragon. It's getting dangerously low. Now resetting back to 4,000 or so health.
Here comes the teleport.
Yeah, Lupa's going to come back in with a massive health bar. Letme gets Buster Shotted out here as well, but look at these Sand Soldiers doing a lot of work. Lupa was at full health a second ago, but now isn't. But Letme is far lower here as well, as M3 is going to turn this one around. Oh, Candy caught in the backside of the map. There's the resonating strike. Is he going to go down though? Tails super low as well, and M3, they trade the AD carries here. The only kills to go down. Ziaohu, though, gets caught in no man's land, forced to use that flash to get away from this Singe, and we'll see whether he's going to be okay, able to use his own form of flag and drag, as the Sun Turret going to come in here as well, and Lupa trying to get onto Ziaohu, who's completely out of mana. Lovecd almost going to go down as Dade picks off Danger around the side. This Sun Turret doing a lot of work, but it's just not enough. The Sonya's Hourglass going to keep him alive, but that poison's going to eventually tick down. Letme has found his way back in after going back to base and teleporting as well. And these fights are going on for so long. Dade did die, by the way, everyone, but this fight is everywhere.
Yeah, there was just so many kills all over the place, and now the inhibitor is under fire in the mid lane with all those blue minions beating on it. They weren't able to get the 5th Dragon, but if this inhibitor goes, you think that they just group back up and go straight back.
There are 3 cannon creeps on that inhibitor there in the mid lane, and Gamtee now, and the Dragon's still up, guys. Let's go start this one again, as Letme's there on his own, but he does no damage. And in the top lane, that's been forfeit as well.
Yeah, Letme recognized how important that Dragon is, because now that the inhibitor's down and all the creeps are there, they can't really fight for it now. So he tried to solo it out, But in the end, this will mean the 5th Dragon going through for M3, and that is such an important power spike in what turned out to be a freakishly even game.
Yeah, Letme still playing very far forward, but the rest of his team's nowhere near him. He's just trying to delay them from getting this Dragon as the rest of the members are coming around. Letme's just a beast here in the backside. Tails coming through as well. He's got a lot of damage, dodges out of the way of that, and the aggressive Valkyrie to come in. Rose coming in here as well, but he gets flung out. Candy gets the kill as he comes into the fight. Sinkdream just getting torn apart as well. Double kill already for Candy, and Letme now in a lot of trouble. Forced to use that flash. The rocket jump coming through, but Ziaohu, he's here at exactly the right time. Emperor's Divide to come in, but there's Dade with a lot of damage in the backside, but that's a double kill coming through already from Ziaohu, and he's able to stand behind his wall here as well as Dade now trying to get the damage down. Beautiful Aqua Prison, and Danger get alley-ooped back into the team.
And what are both AD carries doing? Jumping aggressively into the fight and getting taken out. In the end, lucky Looper is as tanky as he is and was able just to weather a lot.
Will Dragon finally go down?
Yeah,
that
I think
is
it will
question.
this time around as Dade puts out a lot of damage, but that was just an insane fight. Tail velking into people,
Yeah.
and then Candy returning the favor by trying to jump on top of an Azir.
Just ridiculous. And another beautiful Emperor's Divide to come out from Ziaohu. His score just does not tell us exactly how well he's played, because when it comes down to crunch time, he is beautiful on this champion.
Yeah, it certainly has been terrific. And Dade sporting that nice glowing armor now that he's got those 5 dragons. With all the raw AP that is coming out, he hasn't gone for a defensive item. He's picked up the Haunting Guise for his 6th item, so he's going to be doing a lot of damage in these fights. And you really feel, as he finishes hot off, well, you really feel that if they can take him off the map, that's pretty much a lot of the damage already gone. Then they only have to take care of Candy, who's already proved that he's just willing to jump on top of carries to help them out in the favor. So maybe still a chance for Gamtee here in this game.
Yeah, and of course, Candy doesn't have that 5th dragon buff as well. So he was dead when that dragon went down, and I believe that means that he's not going to be burning on as much fire here as the rest of M3. Of course, Ro also was dead at that stage. But Looper now has 6 items. He's picked up that Thornmail that you were mentioning, and I just don't even know whether he's capable of dying.
Yeah, no, he's definitely to the point where you just ignore him as best as you can. He doesn't do that much damage, but it's just the annoying, persistent threat. In fact, if people hit him, probably do more damage that way than what they do if they just let him alone.
Yeah, that's exactly right. As Candy's going to swing around here as well. They want to start off this Baron. You could think that Looper could probably tank that one forever and a day. As Ro as well going to take a fair bit of damage from this one, but Baron's damage just licking at him a little bit.
Yeah, all they're doing is waiting for the super creeps to be able to bust in. The problem is that their bottom wave is pushing in favor of Gamtee, so it's going to be going back. Ultimate comes out again.
Oh, Ziaohu manages to dodge out of the way of these ones, but nice use of that Emperor's Divide again to stop himself from getting engaged on. That is going to mean that that ultimate is down, and M3 take it as a sign to start off this Baron.
Yeah, we see it time and time again as once again Candy just leaps over a wall for
fun.
Yeah. No apparent reason, but they will be able to pick up the Baron because of the super creeps in the base. So both buffs now on M3. This game's probably gone for about 15 minutes longer than they would have liked, but they're finally in a position to push in once again.
Yeah, they feel like they've got enough things floating around them in order to get them towards the end of this game. This Candy now level 18 on this Tristana. 6 items here as well, so you can't feel any better if you are a Tristana player picking that one up. Sand Soldier's doing a lot of damage to Ro. It doesn't matter how tanky you are because this Azir is doing so much work now in this stage of the game. Has basically 6 items because that National's Tooth transform, not quite the item that you really want, of course, that are on hit, not going to be affecting the Sand Soldier damage. But this tower under siege here with 2 Baroned up cannon creeps, and Danger just going to get torn apart here as well. You can see, look at the damage. Sinkdream comes in, lands it on Dade. He does manage to get the Zhonya's out here as well as the Tidal Wave to come in. And Gamtee, the Emperor's Divide, not quite as good as it has been. Sinkdream solos out Dade on the backside of this map. That is hilarious as Candy just stops and lets him go out of respect, you must imagine, as Letme now tries to land onto Candy, but Candy just no fear at all. He wants to kill Tail. It's going to be Ro that finishes that one off, and the inhibitor now under fire, but I think they might just go for the base as Sinkdream still alive with Letme here, but that's a not very much damage.
Yeah, it certainly isn't. And the Troll inhib respawn means that this game will be delayed for a little bit longer, but they'll push in, take out the last Nexus turret. GG to M3 in what was a pretty one-sided affair. A little bit shaky towards the end, but able to pull it off.
Yeah, and M3 looked like they had all of the control for the first 25 minutes, and then Gamtee went, oh, wait, no, we remember how to play this game. Let's do 2 incredible team fights, get us right back into this one, and it was very close towards the end.
Yeah, it certainly was very close, and I think that just a couple of key mistakes, that turret dive that we spoke about, the fantastic ultimates that were coming through from Ziaohu. This game was just a brawl. I think we have a replay to just depict how much this game deteriorated. So this is the weirdest dragon fight of all time. So
let's show this whole engage, ladies and gentlemen.
So if we roll this tank out, as we see, it looks like Candy stops to pick up his red buff. So that's why he's late to this engage. Tail gets in here, and he starts putting out so much damage with this 5 DPS item, but then just vaults into people, gets taken off the map. And thank God Ziaohu's coming through, because Candy, with the next leap in after this one, trying to get back on top of Letme, actually jumps straight into an Azir and gets absolutely shredded coming through. So he returns a favor, gets himself deleted off the map. Dade on the back, just free hitting everyone. And that was just an insane team fight. I don't understand why both ADs would just jump on top of the respective AP carry just to die.
It's just ridiculous, and that is a scrappy example of what was a really scrappy game, to be honest. And you have to think that against any other team, M3 would not have got away with that.
Yeah, certainly, and it looks like they kind of did the bring them down to your level and beat them with experience, and they certainly did, I guess, put the game back to bare basics and use their pure mechanical ability to come out ahead.
Yeah, and you can imagine that they were having a bit of fun there as well, but it is not over yet. Gamtee are going to take on M3 yet again very, very soon, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere.